Hey there. Sorry about the light. I am at work. Interesting night tonight. I had to do maintenance for a couple hours and then basically didn't have anything to do. And so I had a feeling to be that way, so I brought my laptop and I thought I would make a video. I can't upload it here, but I can record it here and save myself some time when I get home. So, where I spend 12 hours a day. Anyway, I've been thinking a lot, and I think I will be doing a lot more replies to basically gun control videos. I always get more views on my gun control videos for some reason, and I feel really comfortable doing it. I mean, I feel really comfortable about economics and politics and history and all that, but I feel really good about the guns. I don't know why. I guess I'm your quintessential American libertarian. However, before I start doing that, which I can't do now because I can't watch any videos to reply to, I did want to talk a little bit about history. Now, I actually am a really big history buff, and that's that my interest in history long predates basically any other interest, and it's still far stronger. And the majority of everything I read is history, I want to talk a little bit about the rise of civilization and the role states played in that. And the misconception is that states facilitated and or created civilized society. And yet the evidence is that that's not the case. And even though anthropologists and historians are very biased and they have a pro-state mentality, they don't actually, to their credit, usually claim this, because as far as we can tell, it's just not the case. The first urban societies began in what we would call the Neolithic era, in what would probably in the Near East, maybe parts of North Africa, maybe parts of Europe and Central Asia. And the first big villages slash transitioning into urban areas are almost 10,000 years old. The most famous site today is a place called Çatalhöyük, which is in Turkey, but there's a whole slew of places in Syria and Iraq, like Andeles Tepe. Tepe is Arabic, it just means a mound of debris from a human settlement. So a lot of ancient sites have the name Tepe, and in Turkish, Höyük means the same thing. So Çatalhöyük is basically an ancient human settlement. There are other ones in the Ukraine and in Iraq. This is all farther north of the classical start of civilization, which is usually pegged at having occurred in Sumar, in southern Iraq, in the cities of Ur and Uruk. Now there's a I don't know if it's out there now. It used to be on YouTube, but I think it got taken down. It might be mirrored someplace else. Fringe Elements has made videos referencing it quite a lot. That these urban societies are, as best we can tell, stateless and fairly egalitarian. And the urban societies of the lower Tigris and Euphrates River, the more classical start of civilization, these don't appear to really have states either. When we first have evidence of the states, they're already established as urban centers. And we can go down the list of all the technological and social achievements that we associate with civilization, be it domestication, writing, masonry, metallurgy, long-distance trade. My boss wants. So as my boss, I have to wake him up in the morning. He's really bad about getting up, and he was just calling me back, letting me know that he is awake. Anyway, none of these inventions are attributed to the actions of a state, at least not directly, and most of them predate states, especially things like metallurgy, language, agriculture. Oh, that was one I forgot to mention. Agriculture, obviously, the wheel. States did not invent any of these things. Now, what did happen is after states were established and you had these kings were egomaniacs as far as we could tell, because they basically gave themselves credit for everything. I guess the most extreme example would be like the pharaohs in Egypt, basically saying if they didn't exist, the sun wouldn't rise and the Nile wouldn't flood. Now, we today understand that that's absurd, that if the pharaoh dies, the sun will still rise and the Nile will still flood, assuming that there's not a dam. But this was what they said to, get their authority. But of course, you look at today, people believe that if we didn't have a state, there would be chaos and we would all kill each other like madmen. And I don't know which of the two superstitions is actually more ridiculous. I don't know that any Egyptians thought that if the pharaoh died, they would all become homicidal maniacs and start killing each other or ripping each other off all the time. Of course, we don't really know. But apparently a lot of people today believe that. Now, it's interesting that when scholars and historians look at the writings, the inscriptions that these ancient kings make, they have a fair degree, and I'd say a justifiable degree of skepticism when they make claims about other kings. So, for instance, if Ramesses III claimed that he won a great victory over his enemy and over the Hittites, or over the Sea People — there weren't any Hittites when he was around — over the Sea People, anthropologists and historians will say, he's probably exaggerating. There's a good chance he never even fought a battle, or that, he fought a stalemate and he's just claiming a great victory. The very first battle that we have any information on, the Battle of Kadesh, don't quote me, I think it was Ramses II, the Egyptian. He was fighting some client king of the Hittites in Syria. And, of course, Ramses, again, I hope I'm remembering that right, don't quote me on it, claimed that he basically was single-handedly won the entire battle. However, the area didn't come under Egyptian control, we know that, and so clearly he exaggerated. And historians are aware of this, and they, take it all with a grain of salt. But they don't do this when they make economic claims. So when Hammurabi says that he built a canal that made the city flourish, that is taken for granted as true. When there is no evidence to corroborate it, and the best we can guess is that it's probably not the case that it made things better. If things would have been better on net with a canal being there, then Hammurabi would not have had to make it. If people are better off with a canal or a trade route or a wall around their city or a watchtower, then they do not need taxation and coercion to make it happen. And indeed, the first walled cities far predate states. I don't know if Jericho is the first walled city. It is one of the first walled cities for which we have evidence, and it is almost, I want to say, 6,000 or 7,000 years old, which is way before the first states. And it's not the only walled city. So it's interesting that historians will, if Hammurabi says he won a great victory against the Babylonians, well, he could be lying. But if he says he brought prosperity to the Indus or whatever, well, or that's taken for granted as being true. So I think that they need to apply more of their skepticism towards their economic claims than they do. And I don't know, what was I going to say?